Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to Tori's World. Today we're going to be talking about the murder or the missing case of Gabby Petito and her boyfriend Brian Laundrie, and the possibility that this may not be the only missing persons case involved with Brian Laundrie. What I'm going to show you guys here today is my hypothesis that there may be more missing persons associated with at least this couple, potentially just Brian Laundrie. I'm going to go over the police stopping on 8/12 and possible domestic or the domestic dispute, possible domestic assault case between Brian and Gabby. I'm also going to be talking about the missing persons case of a Kristen Schulte and let me get her name right. Sorry, it's Kylen Schulte and Crystal Turner Beck. Okay, those are the two other missing persons, and then a third or fourth, I guess this would be Jordan Boone. Now, a lot of you may be asking the significance of these other names to this one case, but I think after the evidence I'm going to present to you, there may be more compelling evidence and a compelling hypothesis as to what may have caused the erratic behavior on that 8/12 stop. I think if you watch it with different eyes, as opposed to the eyes of just maybe they were in an argument and things were exactly as they said they were, even though their stories were similar, I think if they were hiding up possibly a first murder or trying to they had the murder weapon in the vehicle, because after what I'm going to share, a theme of this of my evidence is the fact that the passenger door or the area around the passenger door in the white van seems to be a place that at least Brian definitely doesn't want to go near during the entire stop, and it seems like they're careful. Gabby is sitting in the passenger seat when they first are stopped, and you can see in the clip that her attempts to open the door or when she gets out, not her attempt, but her actual opening of the door and getting out of the car, just seems like she's really delicate with the door, which first time I watched it, I thought absolutely nothing of it, but then I went back after finding out about these other three missing persons case in Moab City, which is where they were staying at the time. Jordan Boone reported missing around 8/4 is what I've seen reports being, and then Crystal and Jaylene, I hope I'm not ruining that name, but apologies if I am. But is it Kylen, maybe? Kylen and Crystal. So Kylen and Crystal, they are an interesting case because they went missing in Moab City just after the stop on 8/12, this domestic dispute between Brian and Gabby, Brian Laundrie and Gabby Petito. And then they went missing somewhere between the 13th and the 19th. and they their case has been handed off now to the FBI, which I think is a little bit of an interesting development. And it's been ruled a double homicide as opposed to a murder-suicide, as opposed to a act of love, potentially between the two women. Maybe there was dispute, but that has been ruled out. So I think that is also an interesting development, that this was a double homicide, and it's been referred to the FBI. In the clip, I'll try to grab, I may not upload it just because it's not my content, but if you look up Kylen Schulte, KYLENE and Crystal Turner back. Okay, so there'll be a video that pops up, and I believe it's Secret Nightmares Uncovered is what I watched. And what she reports is there's also other reports that these Kylen and Crystal had a run-in on both a Friday and a Saturday night with a guy who was very weird, they said. He was very weird, and he weirded them out. And they said they wanted to move campsites. Now they were staying in Moab. Specifically, they were found dead in... Alright, so what's interesting is that 8/12 thing takes place in Utah, in Moab, with Gabby and Brian on Thursday, 8/12. The following Friday, Kylen and Crystal were at a Woody's Tavern on the 13th of August, which there are reports, rumors, I guess you could say, that I haven't seen any video, but of the tavern that night, which would be what I would say would be conclusive. So until then, I would say it's only hearsay. But there are rumors that Gabby Petito and Brian Laundrie were at the same the same beer tavern, Woody's Tavern, that night. Which would make sense, because if he had stayed in town at that hotel that they got set up that the officer Daniel Roberts got him set up at, and he got picked up the following afternoon. Sounds like they had been in town. They had said they had been in town from 9 to 3 in this interview before, which I think is interesting, because she's saying that Gabby was saying that she was building a website and creating content and all this stuff. And they did put out a video on the 19th. She put out her first van life video. But she didn't have anything up until then. They had been on their road trip since June. So it's odd that if she was out at these coffee shops every day from these hours, why her first video wasn't done until a week after she was stopped by the police for this domestic dispute. And then if you look at their website, nomadicstatic.com, it's also there's nothing really going on. It looks like she may have just purchased the domain name and just started to set up the website. I don't think she built the website, so I don't think she's like coding. Which if she is, please comment and let me know what she may have specialized in. Sounds like she was a nutritionist when she was stopped, so she is a coder. I don't know why she wouldn't have had a job in that. So I'm gonna rule out that she was coding anything. So she's just purchasing a website and uploading videos, which if you click on, there's one link, a clickable link in the website, it just leads you back to her YouTube page. And so if the YouTube only has one video and the website isn't developed, what were they doing before they were stopped that day? And why was she so stressed? Because nothing was built at the time. So, and even in her video that she did upload, really seems like she was in the mountains, I would say in the western half of the United States during the majority of the uploaded video. It seemed like most of it took place in a few days span, so it could have all been shot after the 12th, which makes me wonder, which is what prompted me to start asking what else was going on. And that's what led me to this Jordan Boone and his missing case. I'll present my theory now, and then I will go over the evidence of why I think this may be the case. I think that the reason that there was so much anxiety, as you'll see in the different clips I'll show you now, why there's so much anxiety with regard to Gabby and Brian when they are first stopped. Could it be because they had a handgun in the car? I think they may have had a weapon in or near the passenger's seat door or under the passenger seat itself, but somewhere that wasn't exactly out of view, which is why, especially one telling clip is Gabby asks to receive her phone to call her parents during the stop, and the female park ranger asks, who had been talking with her, who received the request, asks Brian if he would like to, if he could tell her where the phone is located. And Brian responds with, this will show the clip right now. Brian responds with, "It's in a spot." And she goes, "What spot's it in?" And he says, "Oh, it's in a spot, I can grab it." So what is that telling us? So do you know where the phone is? I can get it. It's like in a spot. I can go with you. Where are we going? And then he doesn't open up the passenger seat. He says something, an attempt to distract her, I think, and then reaches down quickly and grabs that phone out and then hands it to her, which you think nothing of first time you watch it because it's just a domestic dispute. Maybe there's some hands, but nothing else really going on or reason to worry. But if they have something in that passenger seat, then, well, then he's obviously not going to open up that door and try to and risk that she may see what the fuck is in that fucking thing. And so I don't know. That's it. He also, as I'll show here, the officer, when he's getting a bag of shit from his car, the officer asks him if he can go on the passenger side door to avoid traffic, and then the male park ranger watches and gets his bag. Okay, at this point. What's interesting about this is he walks passenger side around, but all the way around to the driver's side of the door, just all the way around the front side of the car. So it really doesn't seem like it's any safer. But he does it anyway. And then what I also find is weird, because anybody who's hidden stuff before and not wanting it to be found knows the best thing to do is open up everything fully, except for the place you want to be found. So it looks like you're being really transparent, except for the place that you're not. And what's interesting about Brian is, with this van, when he's packing up his backpack, you know, he goes back around to the driver's side to get his stuff, which he could have just reached over the car and got it from the passenger side. And then he opens up the back doors completely, just wide open, as if to show it off. So saying, look in this area, to try to grab attention, which, you know, none of this really I would have thought anything of if it wouldn't have started to look weird that all these other missing persons are showing up in places that he's been. And then we'll also find out that he lied during this same stop about being out on their trip for, he tells the male park ranger that he's been on the trip for 4 to 5 months. And the timeline that's been shown to everyone else is that they left New York in June. So if they left New York in June for a cross-country trip, that would mean they're about 2.5, 3 months in. Not even close to 4 or 5 months. So just seems really small, but is a part of something bigger. Because he also, it's hard to get over him saying it's in a spot to the female park ranger. And she asks, well, I can help. Tell me where the spot is. And he says, it's in a spot. I can't really explain the spot. But then he goes and grabs it basically right out of the side door of the car, or the passenger side car. And so, why couldn't he just explain that? Because he didn't want anybody going in his car, or at least that part of his car. He was alright with people looking all over the rest of it. And I think they probably had a second phone charger, because he explains later in the interview that he couldn't find his phone charger and he had to walk around the car a couple times to find the phone charger. But he never opens up the passenger side door to look for the phone charger. So what was he looking for? Was he looking for the second charger, maybe Gabby's charger, so that he didn't stumble upon the gun in front of them? And it's also weird that Gabby's only 2 requests were things that he didn't want to go near. She wanted to get her phone to call her parents. Okay, that's fair. That might be a first request by anybody. Doesn't seem to draw any red flags. But it is weird that he didn't want to go to open up the door to grab her phone. He knew exactly where it was, but he didn't want to go exactly where he needed to go to get it with the one ranger. And it's also weird that she told him later when the officer says, is there anything you want me to pass along to him, because they didn't want them to say goodbye to each other, other than I love you and I'll see you tomorrow? And she says, don't forget the phone charger. And so he says he almost forgot it. And so, but he had to walk around the car 3 times to grab it, and it took him a while. So was there a second phone charger that was by her phone, that was by the gun, that they were trying to hide when they got stopped and were swerving? Why were they swerving? I don't know. Maybe they saw the lights. They thought there was some, wanted persons for the person, Jordan Boone, who they had just gotten in an altercation with a few nights earlier, and had gotten rid of and hadn't seen reports on, and so they got nervous all in a second, because they thought maybe that they were getting caught by surprise, and they were trying to hide the gun, but they couldn't really hide the gun, and he was trying to hide it, and she didn't want to put it anywhere like under her seat, so she's slapping him. Is that why they were slapping? Is that why he got in a tussle in the car? It's hard to know. But they were overly apologetic when he stopped them. Very weird when you rewatch the beginning, because they immediately start to apologize. I'm sorry, officer, sorry. And that's normal, because, it is the police. They are stopping you. So you gotta be, apologetic, remorseful, that sort of thing. But it is weird if you think about it, with the knowledge that they may be trying to hide something. And so, would they readily admit to this domestic issue that could easily be gotten rid of? Because they could, there's much bigger issues that they're dealing with. Possibly them finding the body of the person they murdered, Jordan Boone. And Ryan also has a abrasion on his left hand, which seems to be a sign that he may have strangled Jordan. It's interesting, because I wish I knew more about this Jordan Boone. There's not much online about Jordan Boone, other than he was a bipolar who people shouldn't be advised to go near. Call somebody if they see him, as he could be a danger. So could he have had a weapon? What goes on in Moab? Fuck if I know. Never been to Utah, never been to Moab, so Not real sure what the vibes are like out there, but it sounds like it's a little bit weird. Like deliverance vibes and shit, but I'm not trying to hate on anybody in Utah, but some sketchy bullshit going on in a short period of time. And I'm in Florida, so it could have been some Floridian. So that is what it is. But it's weird that he had the abrasion on his left hand that he showed the officer and was taking a picture of. Sorry, yeah, this is his left hand. And he so could he have strangled Jordan Boone by surprise one night with a wire, and then taken Boone's weapon? Maybe he had a weapon, and there was an altercation between the two, and what happened. Jordan didn't make it out. Gabby found out. It was causing a lot of arguments. They were getting in a lot of arguments about what to do. They were getting nervous. Gabby hadn't been in that situation before. She was young. She was trying to start a vlog. She's uneasy about the situation. Is that what could have been happening? Could have been going on? Is that what could have been causing the fight? It certainly seems like there's a lot of deaths and missing persons that are associated in or around the same time period as Brian Laundrie. I also find it a little bit odd that, her goals were to start this vlog, start a channel, build a website, but he just seemed to be, I don't know what his goals were. And so that was the first thing that was kind of weird about it, that the whole trip was about making a vlog, but then he wasn't even in on the vibes. I don't even know what the deal was, but it just seems, if you rewatch the police cam video after you do a little research into this other missing persons, then it starts to look a lot weirder as far as the way they're acting. The police officer makes a note, Officer Robert makes a note of Brian's kind of hyperactivity, which is a little bit off, I think. He is a little bit hyper. He has some weird mannerisms as far as when things are getting explained. He bursts out in a laugh one point when they explain what's going to go on with Gabby, which seems, maybe he's nervous, but it also seems like it could just seems like a weird reaction to have, almost like a happy reaction, which maybe he's happy and relieved that that's all this is about. And there's also a missing person in or by the Walmart near Tillman's Corner in Florida, where there's potential video of him getting a sub sandwich, and a missing person, or supposedly a missing homeless person, but who knows what what news is real and what's not. So who knows if it's a missing homeless person or just a guy who was out and wasn't that in that great of shape and had a good change of appearance, because the the photo that I'll show here is a black backpack that was a photo of the scene, which if you look here, you'll see that Brian had a dark, similar looking backpack. Doesn't quite look like a JanSport, but looks something similar to like a dark colored JanSport backpack, which maybe if he needed to get a quick change of appearance, change a bag, he just got word that they're on the prowl, then maybe he got after it again. I mean, once you pop the Pringles top on killing people, I guess it's kind of hard to close it again. So all some very interesting coincidences that seem to be surrounding this Brian Laundrie kid. It also is weird that had the video of Red, White, and Bethune not been discovered, people would have been looking in Yosemite, which I think is interesting because the family of Gabby Petito received a mysterious text on August 30th saying that she was in Yosemite National Park, which is in California, far from the Grand Tetons, and that she was not in cell service. So, very weird. So see if Brian needed a couple days to get back to Florida. I'm not sure why he would need to get back to Florida. If he had to return something, it just doesn't make sense to me yet. If he was gonna drive somewhere, why not just go to Mexico? Unless he needed to reload on. I mean, he may have said that he left her there, and his alibi was going to be that he had left her there, that they got in an argument, and that he, decided to go to the Grand Tetons while she was at Yosemite, and he hadn't seen her since August 30th. Maybe he wouldn't have said the Grand Tetons, since that's where the body was actually found. Maybe he would have said Yosemite as well. And so he says they were both at Yosemite, and they both decided to go their separate ways. And he hadn't seen her since Yosemite. He brought the van back because, I don't know, maybe he rented the van or something. So it was in his name. So that's why he had the keys in the domestic event that they had, as well as driving home. You can see in Red, White, and Bethune, when they're driving past the white van, you can see a flip-flop, which matches the exact same flip-flop that the young lady Gabby was wearing with her brown and white outfit. She had a pair of tannish soled flip-flops with like a white thonging, or whatever you call that part, the top part, with flowers on it. And you can see in Red, White, and Bethune's video screenshot that there is a flip-flop right outside the door. So could they have stumbled upon that murder shortly after it had happened without realizing it? I think it's possible. Somebody says they saw a saw a person or a figure out in the field to the left. If you look on the left, out in the kind of grassy field to the left of the white van in the video on Red, White, and Bethune, there is a dark colored object in the field. Now, whether that's somebody or whether that's nobody, it's really hard to tell. But it is eerie, just considering that flip-flop is there. And that van is in a really weird spot. It doesn't look like there's any tent space really near there, so why would they have parked there? Just unless there was a problem, unless they were fighting and he needed to quiet her down or something. I don't know, but it doesn't look good. The Crystal and Jaylene case has been ruled double homicide. So where does that put us? It puts us with Brian as a potential serial killer, starting with Jordan Boone in or around August 4th to say the 9th. Strife's been, potentially she finds out, maybe she finds the weapon that he's gotten from him. It causes a ton of strife between the two. They're fighting a lot. They separate some. Maybe he's out at the bar on Friday night with her. They're trying to hash things up. He gets drunk. He's got a lot of, I don't know, issues that he's dealing with as far as covering himself up with lies. And you can tell with the 4 or 5 months, the going to Portland, don't know that they were gonna go there. Grandma's best friend, I don't know. It just seems weird that they would be going to stay with the friend of their grandma, an old lady. I don't know. I mean, it's totally possible. Totally possible. But why? Fucking Christ, this dog. So the other officer, who's accompanying Officer Roberts, is questioning Gabby here, and he's asking her what else she was trying to accomplish with this slapping, which there's not really much to see here other than if you watch again, and if she's covering up something, like that they're fighting about body that they hid, or weapon that they have, then she might take a second to think if she should tell the officer what's really going on. Which you can see when he says, what else may have been going on? And you can see she looks down and at his chest when he does this, when he says this, as if she's given it just a second of thought. And then says, it's just because I wouldn't calm down. So maybe it wasn't because she wouldn't calm down. But why wouldn't she calm down? Was it really about dirt in the van? Which seems like it, I don't know. Why would dirt in the van be an issue that would cause, when it's easy to sweep out, as far as things go that cause a mess, like dirty feet? It's possible. I'm not saying that isn't what caused it, but all these things are starting to be weird. The disappearance is weird. around these other disappearances in the same city. Jordan Boone first, followed by Jalen and Crystal, somewhere between the 13th, 14th, 15th, that weekend, when they had this maybe a weird encounter with Brian at this tavern, and then possibly they established that they were staying at the same campsite, which is why they reported back. Crystal and Jaylene reported back to their friends that they had had a very weird interaction. Both Friday and Saturday night they had reported this, and that they were moving campsites on Saturday. They were going to move from their campsite. Now, I haven't been to Moab. Sounds like they're by some angel arcs, which I'm guessing is probably the main area campsite. And I'm not sure exactly how many campsites there are, but it seems like a lot of people going missing at one campsite around the same couple weeks. And I've been camping before, and I mean, I know people say that people go missing at national parks all the time. They do. But this all seems pretty weird, especially with the double homicide of Crystal and Jalen. It wasn't a missing person. So, you do have people disappear all the time, but once you find out that it's homicides, then you have Gabby, who's now been found dead. So, these start to add up, and there's one common denominator, which is Brian. And Brian seems to be, I didn't really think much of the case, other than just that it was interesting initially, but after hearing about these other disappearances, it starts to get a lot more complicated, and his reactions to certain things, like in the clip here where he says a couple things, so if he's holding his breath, a couple things. What did you find out? Because he doesn't know. Anything could be the worst. Any news could be the next worst news he could possibly get. Why? Because he's got Jordan Boone on his mind. He's got a dead body on his mind. He's not thinking about this fucking domestic dispute thing. You shitting me? So, it seems that when you rewatch this stopping after knowing about these other missing persons, it starts to look a lot more weird. They seem to be both really kind of manic, and I don't know, he seemed like a little cuttlefish weirdo, kind of I'm not gonna say I shouldn't say weirdo, but he's a very weird kind of, I don't know, slithery type of dude. He didn't seem like he was very macho by any means. He's pink-haired. When he did have hair, but he shaved. So it looks like in the beginning of her videos that he's got some hair. So why did he go completely bald? Is he trying to change his look up a little bit? Change his description? Possibly. Certainly possible. Certainly very possible. And he just gives off kind of an odd vibe, which I knew that he'd given off an odd vibe during the stop the first time, and a lot of people give off odd vibes, so I just figured, it is what it is. This is just how he is. But it's weirder now knowing about these other disappearances, because his vibe matches up with a weirdo. who might have been reported by these girls as this guy's fucking weird. Maybe they saw him in a bar, he's feeling loose, he's feeling like the cops don't know a thing about that other murder. I'm scrizzy. Already been dealing with them on the 12th. They hooked me up at the hotel room. They got no fucking idea. I'm good. I'm Gucci. So he's feeling top notch. He's feeling good to go. At the bar the next night, he's at the fucking Tabby. He's at the Tavern that night. And he's feeling good, feeling loose. Approaches these ladies. Gives off weird vibes. They don't want to be around him. Maybe they're townies. And he's clearly not from town and giving off some weird energy, and so they don't want to be around him. But when they go back to camping, guess who's ready to camp? Boom. Him. Scary shit. And they say, that's fucking weird. This guy's a fucking crazy dude. Maybe he is crazy. Sounds like he got in some fights. His lady slapped her up. Who knows? But fuck. Looks kind of weird to me. Maybe they said something to him. He said, man, I can't let that go. Can't let that go. You know? Festers on it. And bada boom, bada bang. Next thing you know, he shoots the two of them. Guy's invincible. He's feeling good. So he shoots the two of them. Next day or so they leave. Because they did leave. And they go up to the Grand Tetons. Sometime between, my guess is the 16th and the 22nd. So they're up between the 16th and the 22nd. They go up to the Grand Tetons up in Wyoming, or wherever the fuck it is, up in Idaho, Wyoming area. And maybe Gabby didn't know, maybe she did, but it continues to weigh on her. She's paranoid, anxiety's through the roof about it. She was just trying to start a blog. Maybe she's realizing she's completely in over her head. Doesn't know how to get out though. Knows too much to go. Knows too much to stay. So be interesting to see what she said on the phone to her parents on the last phone call she made on the 25th. I believe she made it on the 25th. It's the timeline. And then why what actually happened between them. My guess is it happened on the 27th. Because I don't think he would have left that damn flip-flop out there. Unless he was just gonna say that she lost it. But seems real weird. Real weird. And I'm putting this hypothesis out there now. Please like, comment, subscribe, get this to trending so we can get some answers, please. If you have better info, if you have links to maybe security footage of him at a gas stop, persons of interest, please post those links below. Help me get into this. I'm not normally into these like murder mystery crimes, but I'm not sure why this caught my attention. It's not because what the haters will say, some white woman syndrome or something. No. It was just that I think that this was getting too many comments on Twitter. So I said, you know what? Let me look this up. Then I watched the video of the traffic stop. I said, this is interesting. They got stopped right before. This seems unlikely. And then maybe it is more likely if there's more going on. There's more to the story if maybe there's more bodies involved. And Gabby knew too much. maybe that was her problem. But please like, comment, and subscribe. I'll try to put out more videos. This gets a lot of hits on all the research I'm doing, what I'm trying to find, latest hypotheses. If I hear anything, I'll try and post it, but please comment if you do have any better information that I haven't covered. Yeah, share this, please. Thanks. Bye. Alright guys, so this goes along with what I've said earlier about Gabby saying, remember she said to get her phone earlier in the clip with the female officer. They go and get the phone out of what I believe to be close to a weapon, and then the second time she says that she should make sure he doesn't forget his phone charger. And then I stumble across this, which I don't know how to flip around the fucking camera, god damn it. Which goes along with what I'm saying, and it's the title of the video is, it's by Charlie Boss Charlie. Okay, I hope you guys can see that. I have no clue. I don't have a phone. Make sure he doesn't forget a phone charger. Okay? And we can go back in.
I don't have a phone, so she goes off without me. Alright. I'm on my own. So, I was saying, let's just go. Alright. So, I've got him in a hotel room tonight. So, here in just a minute, I have to keep you guys separated. For right now, don't contact each other or don't wave at him. Okay? Do you want me to say anything to him? Because I can do that for you. You want me to let him know that you love him and that you'll see him tomorrow and stuff like that? I can do that for you.
Make sure he doesn't forget a phone charger. That's what he said.
Oh, he's bad about that too?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll make sure that he has a phone charger. Okay?
So, maybe he doesn't have a phone, and she says don't forget your phone charger because she knows the phone charger's right by the gun too. Because remember, in the other clip he says he went around the van about 3 times looking for the phone charger. And so I don't know if he had a phone or if he didn't have a phone, but it seems like she was making comments that she wanted somebody to go retrieve one of those 2 things that were close to possibly a weapon, possibly for the Jordan Boone case, which is why she was making those subtle mentions without outright saying it, so that she is covering her bets on both sides in her mind. Hard to know, but it is weird that she said not to forget the phone charger when he potentially doesn't have a phone, but he said he was going to text her, so I think he does have a phone. So I think that might just be some selective video from the encounter, but he does have a charger near something, and perhaps she wants the officers to get near that something. That's my hypothesis.